Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Global Healing Circle. We're here again today with our panel. Today, we are talking about International Women's Month, and we'd like to celebrate that. So, we are talking about archetypes and the feminine archetypes and goddesses today. So, who would like to start with an introduction? Nora?
Yes, hello everyone. I am Nora. I am from Finland and I am an energy healer and a spiritual life coach. And what I do in life is that I help you to find what is the life that you truly want to live. And I help you to release the stuff from your past that is holding you still, kind of pulling you behind. And greetings from Finland. It's quite snowy here. Winter is still going on. And I am very happy to be part of this panel today.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amos Campbell. I'm a master healer from Peoria, Arizona. I run my business, Health and Healing Solutions, where I do musculoskeletal therapy, medical reflexology, energy healing, and meditation guides.
Hello, my name is Fatima Kale of Martins Grace. I'm a master shamanic practitioner. I'm a parkour and I'm training now as a pumping yoke from Indian tradition. Very nice to be here with you all, guys.
And I'm Christina, and I am a holistic well-being coach. I help women create the lives of their dreams through their mind, body, and soul. I'm also a cacao facilitator and an energy healer. So, starting today, we'll talk about goddesses and the feminine archetypes. So, who would like to start? So, what are these feminine archetypes and goddesses? Where do they come from?
I can start as through Greece is what most people know. Goddesses, archetypes. But before I start, I'd like to point out two things. First, women, because sometimes we think like feminine is about women, but it's not. It's feminine and masculine. So to the things that I'm going to mention, I will also mention the masculine parts of this energy that is going to be expressed. First, but second, when we talk about goddesses in ancient Greece, we talk about the upper world. So their energies are going to be very, very subtle in their expressions. You might not get it. It takes an experienced eye to understand what's going on in the woman. How is she expressing herself? Which archetype is she using? Which one has she cultivated more? She has connected more. So starting from this, I'm going to start from the youngest, which is Artemis Diana. And I think that we all know that Artemis Diana was a nature lover. She loved animals and being outside in nature. She is the archetype of the innocent. She can be on her own. She doesn't need a man. She's independent. She's going out. She's doing things. She's dedicated to the world. Not dedicated. This is the one. And if I would find a movie that would describe this, that would be Out of Africa. Like Karen Blixen. She goes into Africa, where Africa is about nature and animals and being outside. And she's independent and she's starting her own business. Everyone is, and she doesn't. So this is very, very Artemis archetype. This whole movie is about this kind of women. The next one in order, there can be two. I'm going to start with the one that I feel it could be going on as as we grow older. That would be Athena. That would be Minerva. So Minerva was born out of Zeus' head. She's a little bit more masculine than the other one. She's all about strategy, thinking. She has to make ways to find solutions, learn tools how to deal with things, be focused, have clarity. Even in turbulence, even when war is going on, you still have to be focused on what's going on and keep going there. You cannot really change that. You don't have to change this. This is where it's going. This is what's going to help you steer your life. Go on. I think that the movie that I would relate to this would be Iron Lady with the life of Margaret Thatcher, because she was a lot like this. She had this very, very will and thinking, not taking care of what other people are going to say, and the turmoil in England and everything at the time. Also, Mulan is one of the cartoons that is going to help, because she goes also into this thing. She wants to restore her family's pride. She has to take up a job the son would do. It's more like she would have to go on this. So produce two archetypes for Artemis. Apollo is the masculine side. Apollo is the god of sun. Artemis is a goddess of moon. So you have sun and moon. So you marry them. They have to be together because your days are like that. It's days and night and days and night and days and night. And one changes over the other. And they need to be in a flux, working together so we can be more flux with our lives. Energy. In Athena, Athena is about strategy. Mars is the goddess, is not the goddess of war that everybody thinks, it's the goddess of action. So when we act, we need to act with strategy so our energy doesn't get wasted. We have to be focused on what we're doing. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm speaking to you as I'm doing something and I know what I'm doing. So this is when you marry these things instead of just doing it because there is a reason that I'm doing this. I'm not just only thinking or I'm not only doing both at the same time. Marry them. These two pairs, they were called brothers and sisters in ancient Greece. So do you relate to any of these?
Yes, I love how you brought up the balance of feminine and the masculine. Right there, we all have feminine and masculine within ourselves. As a woman, we carry a little bit more feminine than the masculine. As a man, you carry more masculine than the feminine. But in ancient Greece, they already recognized this as we all have it. So it's interesting today how we're just starting to or relearn this in ourselves. So as far as these, I guess they would be four god and goddesses, right?
Mhm.
So how would that apply? How would they apply, or how would a modern day woman use these to help
I,
themselves?
I would say it's about embodying. You don't need to do a lot about that thing now because we go study. So this is a masculine trait. So we go study. Being outside in nature, I know that Nora loves to surf. So it's like being out in nature, one or two things in nature and connect with nature and connect with the moon and the ocean and connect with all these things. We're kind of doing them, but we're not really doing them, in a conscious way. We're not very aware of it most of the times, but we are doing it. We are expressing them more or less. These are the youngest ones. And after these two ones, this is when the woman is like up to her 20, 25. And she starts becoming something else. She starts becoming Aphrodite. So this is about love. It's about going out and being sociable, mixed, being having fun with people, playing around, flirting, stuff like that. So Aphrodite, everyone says that Aphrodite is a goddess of sex. Yes, she could be. She could be even like in today's world, she could be working in online hotline stuff, having sex. You want to say something like this? It's a little bit
Started OnlyFans.
Huh?
She started OnlyFans. It was her newest project. Very
Yeah.
successful.
Hotline. Oh, so what is this archetype is about developing the inner beauty so that it can be able to show out. It's about taking care of myself also. It's about dressing out, going after for boys, not going after for relationships. I'm looking for something, but it's flowing into that. It's about seduction and how we use our beauty and how we use the power of beauty to get the things that we want to get. It is also a trait there. So they got they got married Aphrodite with Hephaestus. Hephaestus was a very, very ugly man. He was crippled. He was like you. Didn't like him. But Hephaestus is the craftsman. So when you marry Hephaestus, Aphrodite is when what I create is with beauty. So I don't just create or I don't just beauty. So marrying these two archetypes is about coming together and making something beautiful. That's why maybe Aphrodite is connected to creativity. It's like creativity with beauty. It's not just creativity. It's not a simple thing. Okay, yeah, I'm going to make something. What is it that I make? It has to be something very, very beautiful. Now, I was wondering about a movie. It took me some time to find out a movie. Maybe Pretty Woman is one of them. Because she becomes this, there is this change that she becomes a very beautiful woman, taking off the clothes and turning into something else. From the old movies to Catch a Thief with Grace Kelly. She was this beautiful thing that you couldn't see her because her beauty was going and her fame was going. Always pristine. So that's this is where we are about to 25 years old, 30, something like that. And then when Aphrodite gets her husband, what does she do? She starts a house. Estia is the name of the house. She is the goddess of the house. This is where you turn inside, but also to create a space through these things. So it's about creating a house, creating a space, being and taking care, coziness. Hearth is the word that you use. Hearth. Hearth is the word that I think it goes here.
So just to clarify, Aphrodite actually morphs into Estia? Or is that another?
No, we just kind of move through these stages. You can
So
see the
shift-
stage in a woman's
Okay.
life or in a man's life. So we're kind of going, yes, and shift. We shift from one to another. Okay, so we're kind of going. When you're 15 years old, you don't care about the house. Just going, I'm going to go on. I need to stop. Okay, so it's, yeah, it's about the house, it's about the warmth, it's about the coziness, it's about creating a very nice environments where people can come. There is an issue about this thing now that because she's focused so much on the inside, she might not be so much social. She might not be going outside because she's interested about things around. So there is an issue there that we need to be aware of. This could be her brother was Mercury. Mercury was the goddess, the god dog for going outside of the streets of the merchants, of everything that is on the road. So we need to balance being in the house and being on the road on the outside. So we need to balance being good in both of the idea is also the caretaker, the one who takes care of the other people in the house, the rest of the people in the house. She's probably married at that age because she's building her nest, making her home. She's creating the environment. The side of music, movie, because it's about family, it's about creating the space, it's about holding, bringing everyone together and being a good, and taking care of things and creating a happy atmosphere. This is one of Steve's archetypes, those movies. And I am moving to the next one, which is Dimitra. Dimitra is Ceres, I think it's called in Latin. It's the archetype of the mother. She's the earth. Ancient Greece says she's the mother. The myth goes that when she lost her child, her only daughter, Persephone, because the god of the underworld took her, she came into winter, into spring, and then to fight all over, making a conversation with the gods. I want to take my child with me, and I want to have her. We have to split the seasons. So half of the season she was in the middle world, and then the rest of the season she was in the underworld. So there's an issue there about mothers and nurturers, the ones that bring fertility, the ones that, they have children. They kind of going through these cycles of losing and having and losing, birth, death, rebirth, and everything. This is very characteristic of mother archetype. She's going to lose at some point the children. The children are going to go. So maybe this is very, very hard, but she does go through. Her masculine trait is Poseidon, who is the god of water. These are the two most prominent natural elements on Earth. So we see a lot of land and a lot of water. These are the two ones that we can see most. I think there's a movie that's called Rosemary's Baby. Have you seen it? It's an old one from the 70s where this person...
Horror movie.
Yeah?
It's a horror movie.
Exactly. It's like a horror movie, but the thing is that she's pregnant, and there are the neighbors that want to take her child, use it for something else. I think this is the story about. It can be a little bit frightening of losing the child, or something is gonna happen, something bad to the child. This is another one. And Mamma Mia, it's about the daughter. The daughter is going to get married. No, okay, we are growing up. Mitra, at Forever's. So when you come to Greece, we're gonna go to Elefsina. This is where the mysteries of Elefsina used to happen, to honor and to give thank you for the crops and everything that she was giving us. It was a special place that we would put at the heart of the crops that the people were growing at the time to bring back to the goddess. So it would be very interesting to go there. This is also a place that you can go in the underworld. Because it can't, but leads in the underworld. And the last one is Ira. Ira is Juno. Ira, she's the one that's putting everyone in trouble. She's the leader of Mount Olympus. She's the wife of Zeus. She can do whatever she wants. Leadership, power, coming at full strength. You can affect other people's fate also with what you do or what you do not do. And she is also the archetype of Crow that we were talking about the previous time.
I was going to ask about that, what would identify as...
This would be the archetype of the Crow. She's the only one that fits very, very, very well into this. Endurance, self-assurance is also about this archetype. Businesswomen like this because they're very much into leadership roles. Devil Wears Prada.
Mm.
Describes her very, very well. And anything that has to do with the queen, any movies about the queen, this is the archetype of the queen. She is the leader of all people, of everyone. That can be a little bit, you have the easy things and the hard things about to do, or not wanting to do something, or being not wanting to be unfair to people, but then you have to be unfair to people because something else needs to be taken care of. That's it. These are the ones I have so far. Which one do you think that you can? Even Amos has feminine traits.
Oh, yeah. Lots of feminine traits. I'm all about that balance. I was even a drag queen for quite a few years back in the day. Very beautiful.
Queen.
Exactly. What I can do with a little paint is amazing. When I bring up the goddesses to clients or the spirits and stuff like that, it's all about what we're needing for their journey to get them to their next level. So for me, I relate everything to what is apt, related to aptitude to solve the problem they have. So not every one has a solution for everything. So I break everything into levels. So first we have our guardian. They're our guides. So they're the ones that sort of like get us through the changes of life. And to play off of yours is exactly, I would recommend Artemis because of the phases of the moon, how there's constantly the changes of life. If you're going through a tough change right now, I recommend that at nighttime, you would go outside under the moon and I would have a conversation with Artemis of this is a change, this is a phase, and you need help navigating to wherever is to go next. It's one of the most common things in our life is change. Change is never going to stop. So I would talk to Artemis under the moon. That would be my recommend. After that, we have our guardians, and they're very much the protectors. And to play off earlier, that would be Hestia. I would have someone light a candle and I would have them just think about a firewall of protection around your sacred space, around your home, or just around you. Everywhere you walk, you are surrounded with a psychic firewall. Not a whole lot will bother you after that. Or sometimes you need something a little bit bigger. And this is where we bring in the governors or the big goddesses. And that would be Venus or Aphrodite. She is the ultimate embodiment of female empowerment, whether it's beauty, sex, or in my opinion, creativity. That's what I would have you do. I would have you go to your best friend who does makeup or hair, or call your best friend and go do a complete retail therapy makeover day and make yourself feel beautiful, whatever that is. Makeup, hair, go get yourself a new pair of jewelry, choose something, make yourself feel beautiful, make yourself feel sexy, or go out and let's have a good time one night. And I don't think any of this would be harmful, but these are the meditations that I would recommend for people.
Nice. Great. I also want to talk about what I had read are the shadow sides. So these parts of ourselves that we really don't like to identify with. And do the goddesses have these shadow sides? And if they do, could you talk about a few of them?
Well, usually specifically off the top in a different pantheon would be like Sekhmet, because she's both a warrior, war goddess of like revenge and vengeance, but she's also a health and healing goddess. And that's where I really do bring that analogy up a lot of the time in healing, because medicine has a dark side. Like if you have a tumor, I have to cut a circle around it. It's called a margin. And it's very unfortunate for the healthy cells that are in that margin that are doing their job. They get nothing wrong, but I must take them to ensure that I exercise this entire tumor and it cannot come back. So there are side effects to some things like healing. We see frostbite. You might get frostbite in a finger, but I've seen someone lose it up to their elbow. It's just, there are dark sides to everything. Nothing in nature is inherently completely positive. I just don't think so. So
It's
that's what
duality, right?
I think we should observe the duality in everything, but that's the analogy I'll use for the goddesses.
Nice. And Potini, how about you? Are there any goddesses that you can think of where their shadow side might present something that we can see within ourselves if we identify with that particular goddess?
I think that all I have them shadow parts. Like what I said before, is I can be so much about myself. I'm not going to care about what, it's just what's going on in society. Or if you take Artemis, who's the youngest one, she doesn't care about men. It's not about relationships. It's not about just going out, having fun. And then if you take Ira, this leadership business thing might be sacrificing other things. Also need to happen or not to happen or to be taken care of. And then Dimitra is the one who organizes herself for other people. And it's like you think, isn't there a balance in mothers that, you have to take care of yourself all the time? And then Aphrodite would be the unfaithful one, who is giving a hard time to other men, starting wars like the Trojan War and all these things. So yes, like each one of them has a lot of, shadow parts that we need to be mindful of. Like I think now is about the mind. So in the mind, then you forget about the feeling. You need to we need to balance all of them, even and recognize all the other traits that exist. I
Yeah.
don't know so much about what Amos said, but the only thing that I can like say it's Persephone. When she goes in the underwood, she deals with all the dead stuff. So that could be an issue about a person who's living in, into the dead wood, all about the shadow parts and all these things. That can be also an issue of taking care of. So I think also psychologists tend to be in perception-based mode because it's about, this taking care of others or people with addictions, being close to people with addictions or something. So all of them, what you said, this negative.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Oh,
Now I'm curious. Now I'm curious. Okay, so Nora, which one you can relate most? Turn on it. You're muted.
Sorry, I was muted. So yeah, thank you so much for telling this. It was really really interesting to listen, and I was trying to think which ones are in me, and I think all of them are in some way. Like this youngest one, was it Artemis? Loves the nature. That's what I have. I love the nature. I need to be connected with the nature, and it's the place where I can really rewire. Then, on the other hand, I'm very much like Athena. I'm very strategic. I'm very sharp minded. I'm very intelligent when I want to achieve something. So I have like great strategies and I go for it. Then I have even the leadership of the Hera or Ira, like that. I'm never like rude or using my elbows or anything, but I can see that I have this kind of business minded side also. And then I have, well, this Aphrodite, I had like less in my, when I was younger, it was more. Now I'm not interested in that at the moment. And then I'm very much loving to stay home. I'm quite introvert. I need a lot of time for myself. So what was the goddess of
The house.
yeah, of the house. So I can see that there are actually like almost all of that. And then of course in my healings I deal with the dead people all the time. So so I don't know. I have all of them. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We don't understand it, but we do. We do. We kind of all have all of them.
Yeah.
I think that's an amazing insight because as I was preparing for this panel, I started looking at that as well. And I was like, wow. And I think one shines a little bit more than the other at different times.
Yeah.
So, like for me, Estia, I am a nurturer and I'm a supporter. And so I do have those tendencies to, entertain and to make sure everyone's happy. And, I owned a restaurant, so I wanted to feed people. And in my healing and my coaching. But then there's the other side of me that is very, very independent. And I really just don't want anything to do with anyone. And I just want to do my thing. So it's very interesting to see that.
Yeah.
It shows up in your life.
Hmm.
The
And
rest,
and and what is also interesting is that I have been thinking about this mother side. This what was the goddess of the mother,
Dimitra.
Dimitra? Because I have known since my childhood that I will never have children. It is something I knew very deep inside me, and I'm not interested in having children. I have 4 nephews and nieces, and I love them. They are adorable. I spend a lot of time with them. But then I have always had this thing that people say that, but you have so much this mother energy inside you. But it always doesn't need it doesn't always need to mean that you will actually become a mother. Because I can use that side of me in my healings when I'm
Right.
taking care of people. So I'm nurturing there, but then I still have this Artemis side that can go alone with her surfboard and enjoy the nature. So it's about how to balance. You don't need to go in one box and try to stick there, I would
Right.
say.
Oh, that's the affinity part. Like, that's why Olympus had all these stations because nobody wanted to do any one thing. Well, nobody wanted to do everything. These guys wanted to break it off. And I think that's why we get to be human so that we get to do whatever we need whenever we need it. And I think that's the beautiful part of recognizing these essences. And an essence is like, is the spirit of, and we just gave these the names of these sort of like, I guess I see it as like a giant corporate model. And it's like, which department do you need to go to solve your problems today? Do I need to go to the love department? Do I need to go to the strategy department? Do I have to go to HR? Do I have to go to the protection? Like, do I need to go to, there's everybody has these and you get to just go where you need.
I love that. And that, I've never looked at it that way before, even though I've heard, you all talk about it and I've read the articles and I've done the goddess cards and I've done that. And I just have never thought about it that way. And I just had this aha moment that, wow, this is really an amazing tool. These are amazing tools to use you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to be the lone soldier of the island. You can ask for help from all of these parts of you.
Takes a village always, every step of the way, all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we're coming up on the end of our segment. And this was so cool. I would just like to go around. Any last thoughts that you'd like to share? Amos, if you'd like to start?
When in doubt, find a quiet place and ask. Whether you're asking yourself or you're asking one of these unique departments of the universe, just ask and give yourself some moments of stillness. I think you'll be surprised at what will come to you.
Good. And Fotini.
I would say make an offering and then receive what the guidance comes. So if you want to coming back and forth relationship with its qualities, and then there are more. Go and explore all of them, because I know all over the world there are more. But make the offering, focus on, see what comes back. And I like the approach today was practical with the goddess. Very nice. Thanks.
And Nora.
Well, I definitely found a lot of valuable insight from this episode. So I just want to thank you all. And this was definitely a lesson for me. I am going to go and study my inner goddesses a lot. And hopefully you there also who are watching this, maybe you can get out of your box and try a little role play and get another goddess energy and play with that.
I love that. And I just want to say thank you all for watching. And I think I've shared a little bit of what I have discovered. And yes, we have all of these parts of us. We identify with all of it. So play with it, have fun with it, explore it. And just like and subscribe. If you have anything you'd like us to talk about, please write it in the comments and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.